Ode to a Lost Explorer. This is a fictional travel blog through the procedurally generated universe of No Man's Sky. All content within this audiobook is copyright 2016-2018 Andreas Constantine. All related No Man's Sky logos and or information included in this novelization are owned by Hello Games. Welcome, interlopers, to the fictitious podcast novelization through the procedurally generated universe of No Man's Sky. Chapter 11. Distressing Encounter. The freighter's computer simulation ran a sequence of hyperjump tests. The long-range conflict sensors displayed a possible neutral system with minimal issues. This wasn't always a foolproof evaluation, as political fluctuation was ongoing. Additionally, there wasn't enough time to run further scans and simulations for stronger confirmation. This would have to do. With little time left before the hyperjump, I turned to Arya. Kalo called you the ambassador. Are you really an ambassador? Arya turned to look at me, and for the first time, I noticed her eyes. A deep, dark blue, but strangely lacking, as if I were looking into mirrors. Her true eyes elsewhere. I feared my own might be the same.
I suppose it's been a long time. But then again, time is not really long. It just is.
She said, seemingly lingering on the word time, as if it played some significance on our predicament.
I represent those who trust me.
And who are they? I dared to ask, hoping for an answer.
Others like you.
You mean other travelers? Kalo's chief technician gave me the signal to jump. The freighter's hyperdrive engine spooled up to make the transition to hyperspace. I could feel a steady vibration growing throughout the freighter's superstructure.
I mean others that are lost, which I have found, like you.
Oh, stupid computer glitching again.
The chief burbled and grieved. She paused and turned to look at the chief. Her eyes shifted down to the computer console.
There's a problem with your coordinates.
She pointed out the minor input hitch. The chief made the error correction and confirmed it with the other Gek beside him.
Not only coordinates error,
the chief said. On the above mid-platform, 2 more Gek crew were waving their arms in the air and crying out in frustration. What's wrong? I asked.
Big problem. Not enough fuel for long jump. Maybe not enough fuel for short jump either. Freighter damaged. Little fuel left leaking.
The chief looked distressed. Another alarm sounded on the bridge. We all looked at the chief, who had suddenly stopped making any sounds, which was strange behavior for any Gek. Looking in the direction of the planet we were orbiting.
Activate the stress signal,
he cried, pointing outside. From beyond the planet, 4 pirate ships were heading directly at us.
Run new simulation for short system jump. Check fuel capacity. Check quantity of freighter fuel left from leaking.
He finally started to gurgle, which was comforting for the other Gek, I'm sure.
Can't repair leak till new system. Quick, now!
The chief shouted orders while his crew, babbling, scrambled to run to the test. The first 2 pirates were already circling the freighter, taking pot shots and trying to disable the jump engines. The other 2 were fast approaching. Most likely they would try to land and retake the freighter, even though I had a strange feeling it was Arya they were after. They had already taken the freighter before we took it back, so what were they actually after? The bridge shook from the hits the freighter was taking on its port and starboard sides as the second pair arrived. They were hitting our turrets, even though they were non-operational.
2 minutes to finish the test,
one of the chief's crew confirmed.
Too late. Need jump. Jump now. Engines will be offline. We bow heads. We failed.
The chief conceded, his shoulders drooping. It seemed hopeless. We were lost.
They tricked us. They lured Kalo away and set up this trap, and I fell for it.
Arya seemed more annoyed with herself than the chief's failing faith in himself and his crew. An unknown signal suddenly appeared on the local system display. It was a message being transmitted openly in the system. Someone had picked up our distress signal. What's it saying? I asked, half relieved at the possibility of rescue.
Unknown, but language familiar,
The chief said.
Speaking the squawk box.
It's Viking.
Arya confirmed. What are they saying? I repeated.
Battle. Visual detection of pirates. Burn, pirates. Grah!
Arya translated. Everyone started cheering. Arya remained focused as more was being transmitted. Look! I pointed to where 2 Viking ships were entangled with pirates. One of the pirate ships was already burning. They're good, I said.
Superior class ships, pirates no match,
The chief said. But they're outnumbered, I pointed out.
Irrelevant.
Arya added.
They have superior ships and far better pilots. Viking are warriors.
Already the second ship was on fire. The other 2 pirates were struggling to avoid the Viking offensive.
Simulation complete. Coordinates set, fuel barely adequate. Ready go, hyper jump, chief.
A crew Geek said. But we're winning, I said.
No, we're not.
Arya said.
Our predicament just got worse.
Was that a dog growling? Now what? I asked.
They just scanned us.
Arya continued.
They're claiming something about a suspicious meddler. No, they've detected an interloper.
The last pirate had retreated, their engine burning. The other 3 were space dust. Looking out from the forward observation window across the freighter's bow, the Viking ships were on a direct glide path for the hangars.
Can't we seal the hangar doors?
Arya pleaded. What's going on? I asked, my relief slowly fading.
Negative. And the shield's broke. Stuck on blue. No time to fix.
The chief groaned. What did they say? I turned to look at Arya. Her face had turned as white as her exosuit.
High command orders. Accept extraction. Take ancient Atlas Stone, warrior.
Take ancient what? What was an Atlas Stone warrior? I asked, looking from the chief to Arya. No one replied. I don't understand. I thought we were being rescued, I insisted.
Vikings don't rescue. They're raiders.
Arya said.
Whooping leaky freighter. Jump now. Jump.
Ordered the chief.
Before Viking bad scent arrive,
He murmured to himself. Arya ejected a beacon with encrypted coordinates of the star system we were jumping to. Hopefully Kalo would be around to receive them. There was no more time. Instead, I had turned to take one final look in the direction Kalo's fighter number 7 had taken to intercept the pirate horde, now just empty space, wondering at the sacrifice he was making for us, for Arya. Arya came and stood beside me and looked in the same direction. Both our thoughts were with Kalo. She turned to me and took my hand.
I have to go. I won't be able to face the Viking. They're warriors, and these warriors have been looking for me for some time. You're all in danger as long as I stay here.
Wait, we can beat them if we stick together.
No, too much hate against Atlas, against Geek. Listen to the chief. He'll know what to do until I return.
She released my hand and quickly left the bridge. We're just going to let her go? I turned to the chief for support. He glanced at me for a second, croaked softly, then turned his eyes to the console. Outside, the empty space around the freighter ventilated, forming a leviathan bubble that swallowed itself in the sea of the space around it. The freighter folded in a spherical portion of the vacuum. It had encapsulated itself in and vanished, along with 2 Viking ships that had just landed in the freighter's hangars. From the bridge, none of this was truly visible. There was a slight moment, a hint of what had occurred, something I would call a gentle nudge, but actually felt like something being gulped down a giant's throat, followed by a sudden loud pop as the bubble burst. In the next instant, we found ourselves in a new star system with 2 Viking ships sitting in our hangar and a missing hauler. Are you a No Man's Sky fan, player, enthusiast, or just a fan of space fiction? Well, please enjoy this audiobook now, subscribe to the channel, or visit the actual novelization written by Andreas Constantine at odetoalostexplorer.wordpress.com. Until the next time, keep exploring, interlopers.